Hey guys, welcome to Blaugrana United. Welcome to another video, and today is time to talk about Barcelona, about why players are not succeeding at Barcelona. What are we doing that is making all these players not triumph at this club? And this is something that I wanted to talk about because I was looking at transfer history. I think I did this a few months ago, but more like as a whole transfer sum and what we could have done with the money instead. But I decided to grab every player that I think hasn't succeeded at Barcelona. Like, I'm not gonna include the situations of Artur, De Jong, Umtiti, Citizen, Paulinho even, because we recouped the money for him. So I'm not gonna include those kind of transfers that has succeeded at Barcelona and that we've gotten a great performance out of them. But I just want to tell you the sheer amount of players that for one reason or another we signed them, they haven't succeeded, why they haven't succeeded, and why are we wasting the money like this. And it's not like I don't want to say anything because I don't think there's not one single bad player in this list. I think they're all players that were usable, some more than others, but these are all really good players for Barcelona. But we just didn't build the squad properly, we haven't given them proper opportunities, and we've brought players that just were not suited for what they were asked to do at the end of the day. And I want to start with the 15-16 season, so I've got pretty much I started this with the summer following our treble-winning season for the 15-16 season, so I think that's the most accurate thing because that's probably the last period of success for Barcelona was that 15-16 season. So let's start with that. The two players that we signed in the winter transfer window were Arda Turan for 34 million euros and Alex Vidal for 17 million euros. In the 16-17 season, we signed Andre Gomes for 37 million euros, Paco Alcacer for 30, Lucas Digne for 17, and Denis Suarez for 3 million euros, signing him back from Villarreal after he had a really good season at Villarreal and we bought him back with the buyback clause. The following season, we signed Ousmane Dembele for 125 million euros following that departure from Neymar. We signed Philippe Coutinho in the winter with 145 million euros. Then Semedo for 35, Deulofeu for 12, Mina for 12, and Marlon Santos for 5 million euros. The following summer we did a couple signings, Arturo Vidal, Artur Melo, but most important we signed Malcolm, and I think Malcolm didn't triumph for Barcelona, we can all agree with that, seeing as he's not at Barcelona anymore. He didn't play much and we spent 41 million euros on him. And then this past summer, we went ahead and signed a bunch of players, with the ones included Griezmann and Junior Firpo. Junior Firpo I put in this list because I put both of these players because although it seems harsh, at the moment it doesn't look like those players are going to succeed to me. Like, it already looks like they're going to have the same problem that Ousmane Dembele and Coutinho have had this past couple transfer windows, and that is that we haven't given them proper opportunities, and Griezmann is not. We're not playing Griezmann where he's supposed to be playing, or at least not in the system that he should be playing. And Junior Firpo, we have an injured left back in Jordi Alba, and Junior Firpo, who was supposed to be the backup, he's not getting minutes, God knows why. And with all of this put combined, and these are values from Transfer Market, it goes for a total of 651 million euros, and this is not including the other signings that we've had, like your Frankie de Jongs, your Artur Melos, Jasper Citizen, Arturo Vidal, Paulinho, etc, etc, etc. These are the players just that haven't succeeded at Barcelona, and if you look at every single player in this list, I think we can all agree that none of these players have succeeded at Barcelona at all. Arda Turan came in from Barcelona. I'm going to explain every situation. It's not every situation is the fault of the club. I want to say it's it could be also the fault of the player, as it was with Arda Turan, because he came in with the mentality that Barcelona was, tiki-taka, that you only come here and you probably have it easy. You don't have to like run as much as you did with Simeone. And no, you don't have to probably run as much as you did with Simeone, but you have to be a lot concentrated. Mentally, you have to be really strong. And Arturan always seems like at Barcelona, he just was like here for the breeze and thought it was going to be easy. But as he found out, it wasn't it to be. He had, at that moment in time, he had a very good MSN, so he was nowhere near in that forward line and in the midfield. If he didn't put enough effort, he was never going to be ahead of Busquets, Rakitic, or Andres Iniesta at the time being. Alex Vidal, I don't know why we signed him. I mean, we signed him to be the backup to Dani Alves, but in my opinion, Sergio Roberto proved that he was a good enough right back at the time, so I thought that it was actually pretty decent to have Sergio Roberto in that position. Dani Alves still giving good performances at Barcelona. I just think bringing Alex Vidal, although he's a good player, probably not the right profile for Barcelona. So again, these two players didn't succeed at Barcelona for external reasons, but it's two players that we're not succeeding. Let's go ahead and keep the count. Andre Gomes. Andre Gomes doesn't succeed at Barcelona because, as you're going to be seeing, with Andre Gomes, you also have Arda Turan, you have Denis Suarez, Andre Gomes himself, Rakitic, Busquets, Iniesta. You have Aleñá coming in, or trying to break into the first team, not getting minutes because with those amount of midfielders, you're never gonna play in that midfield for Barcelona, and you find yourself with too many midfielders. And what happens when you have too many midfielders? Then your starters are gonna play pretty much everything, and when your starters are not playing, you have to distribute the minutes, the garbage minutes, between those players, meaning that none of them gets continuity. That means same problem for Denis Suarez, because those players didn't get any continuity. They didn't get any continuity, and that caused us to not be able to, play one or the other, because we have to give both of them minutes. And you start playing Andre Gomes in positions that were not his own, because he was very liked by Luis Enrique and Valverde at the time. He was given opportunities in the 2 seasons that he was 2 or 3 seasons that he was able to be with Barcelona. He was given the opportunities, so that means that they trained well. The problem is that the Barcelona fans were pretty tough on Andre Gomes, pretty much blaming every loss. The same way that everyone blamed what happened to Slavia yesterday to Ousmane Dembele. At least you saw how Ousmane Dembele was being sopped off. He was being booed off by fans. Same thing goes with Andre Gomes. Pretty much everything bad that happens at Barcelona is fault of Andre Gomes, Mathieu, Luis Enrique, Semedo, Dembele. Okay, that's what it is, and that's why he started failing. Paco Alcacer. Why did Paco Alcacer not succeed at Barcelona? It's a situation of he's just not the right player for Barcelona. He was never the right player for Barcelona. He's scoring a lot of goals right now at Borussia Dortmund. He's always been a good striker, a good poacher. But from my opinion, for a starter, for a backup, yes, sure. But you don't need a backup like Paco Alcacer. I think there is other players that could be much better as a backup that have that. And for me, he has EY factor 10 to him, but it's like that niche thing that I have about Paco Alcacer. Always seems like in the big games whenever he played, he always missed crucial chances. I remember that in El Clasico, Paco Alcacer missing chance after chance after chance, and I was like, God damn, man. But anyways, that was another situation. Obviously succeeding right now at Borussia Dortmund, and there's something to examine about most of these players in this list. After leaving Barcelona, they succeeded through absolutely unbelievable levels, or at least a good level. Some of them haven't succeeded, some of them have continued the trend of just not taking it seriously and continued that downward trend that we saw at Barcelona. Lucas Digne, a really good example of that. Lucas Digne, always, I want to say that it's not like he failed, because he always was a pretty decent, he was always a 6 out of 10, and that was pretty decent. But I want to say that it's a failure because we signed Lucas Digne by letting go of Alex Grimaldo, and right now Alex Grimaldo is worth what? Whoever wants to sign him away from Benfica has to pay 30 to 40 million euros. to sign him. So we could have one of the most promising left backs in world football, and instead we decided not to trust in the youth academy, and that has been a problem for years and years and years, that we're not trusting our youth academy. Denis Suarez, the same problem, not enough continuity. I remember last season, or the season before that, the first season from Ernesto Valverde, after December, I think he featured like less than 5 games after December. So I don't know what happened there. So he's playing actually pretty well right now at Celta Vigo, so I'm happy that he's getting minutes and that he's showing his class, because I actually thought Denis Suarez had a lot of talent. All these players for me had a lot of talent, could succeed at Barcelona if the right situation show for them to succeed at the club. Then you have Felipe Coutinho. I don't have to discuss the situation of Felipe Coutinho. Coutinho doesn't succeed at Barcelona because we bring him in as a marquee signing, but not as a player that is needed in the squad, because he is a number 10, and Barcelona don't play with number 10s. And if we ever play with number 10, the number 10 is going to be Messi, because Messi is the best ever player in attack that you can ever have in a football team. Therefore, we bring a player to either take away minutes from Ousmane Dembele, who is a proper winger, or we put him in midfield, but because Ernesto Valverde had it, because he put Coutinho in midfield one game in a season, or like very few games of a season, he put Coutinho to play in midfield. He has one bad performance beginning his career in midfield, and he's never to be seen in the midfield again after the game against Leganés last season. Semedo, I would not say that he's not succeeding at Barcelona. I actually think he's been really good since he stayed at Barcelona. He's been getting better every season. He's been one of our best performances this season, but Semedo hasn't earned the people that Camp now. I just don't think that liking quite a bit. He's not the undisputed starter that he should be every single game. For example, would Dani Alves ever get switched to the left back position if the backup fullback was to come in to play, because we don't have a backup left back? No, it wouldn't. That means that Semedo, yes, he's playing a lot of minutes, but we'll see where that goes along in a couple games time. Deulofeu, we re-signed him back from Everton for 12 million euros after having a really good spell at AC Milan and a pretty decent games at Everton. But what happens is that, again, he gets no continuity. He gets the problem with Ousmane Dembele, the same problem. Actually, I'm going to put both Ousmane Dembele and Deulofeu in the same situation because they're both in the same situation. They're forward players that, everyone, or like most people at Barcelona like. Most of the fans like Neymar. Most of the dressing room like Neymar. And, well, the fans have a thing that say, Deulofeu, he's too bad. He's nowhere near Neymar. And that's the problem. Dembele and every forward player that's going to come along, it's always going to be, for some reason, they have to be placed in the shadow of Neymar. But I don't understand why, because they should be, given minutes, because Neymar wasn't the best Neymar that we watched at Barcelona after his first couple seasons, and then he started showing his best football. That's why I think that Deulofeu didn't succeed. Also, Messi and Suarez don't help. The same thing that I showed to you with Dembele and Griezmann, that Messi and Suarez don't pass them the ball. Same thing happened with Deulofeu, with Denis Suarez, with Andre Gomes. They start yelling at them. They start don't passing in the ball, and we have problems eventually. Yerry Mina. The problem with Yerry Mina was Piqué needs to play every single minute of every single season, and that's why Mina didn't succeed, because the press, the Barcelona press, Sport, and Mundo Deportivo, especially Sport, they were like, we lose that game against Levante 5-4, and they blame all of it on Yerry Mina. And after he has only had one game with Barcelona, he gets the cross, has a really good World Cup, and we were able to make money in Yerry Mina. But for the most part, he didn't succeed at Barcelona because after one game where they're blaming all the fault fell on him and not on the other players that were supposed to step up that earn a lot more than him, well, that's what happened to him. And Marlon is just that he was never meant to be for the first team. It's a player that if he shines, he shines. If he doesn't, we'll make a profit. He came for a short amount of money. It's fine about signing. I'm okay with those kind of signings. Malcolm, 41 million euros. I would have signed him. We had more than enough going forward. We should have a forward line of Dembele, Suarez, and Messi. And if you were gonna have a forward in Coutinho and in midfield, that would have been perfectly fine. Rotating Coutinho between the forward line and the midfield, it would have been perfectly fine. Then you can give players like maybe Aleñá a chance in the forward line, Carlos Perez, Abel Ruiz, and that's what we should have done. We signed Malcolm. Malcolm doesn't get any minutes. He leaves to Zenit the following year because he hasn't got any minutes. He does a good job in the games that he plays. He gives an attitude, actually more than Dembele in most of the games. He gives a good attitude. He does pretty decent performances, and he just has to have a half bad, not great performances, and gets frozen out of the squad again for no reason. Who has to remember that Sergio Roberto started ahead of him in the Copa del Rey final for no reason, and he gets frozen out after he had a really good game against Real Madrid in that first leg and was not seen again for a couple months. And now we have to come up this season with Antoine Griezmann and Junior Firpo. I would have signed Junior Firpo. I said it. I think that Cucurella should be given the chance because this is exactly the situation. I knew this was going to happen. Jordi Alba is going to get to play everything, and Cucurella, we see that he has level to play at least in Primera División, meaning that he's at least good enough to be just an emergency backup for Jordi Alba. And I'm sure Cucurella would have been happy with playing those kind of minutes of Barcelona, knowing that he has the future of Barcelona at his grasp in that left back position. And that's why I wouldn't have signed Junior Firpo. But we signed Junior Firpo, and I expect him that in situations where Jordi Alba is not fit to play and is not able to play, I expect Junior Firpo to play. And that is a decision that Valverde made a mistake on. I'm pretty sure he didn't sign Junior Firpo, or if he did, I don't know why he's not using him or anything, but he's not making him succeed. And Griezmann is not succeeding at Barcelona because we have that group of people in the dressing room that wanted Mr. Neymar to come to Barcelona. We signed Griezmann instead because we couldn't break the deal that we did with Griezmann in March, and that's it. Messi and Suarez don't pass the ball, or at least Messi doesn't pass the ball to Griezmann, or Suarez doesn't pass the ball to Griezmann. We obviously have a problem here, and who knows? It's, like I said, 651 million euros, mostly to the drain. Yes, we recouped some of that money back, but nowhere near enough the investment that we did initially. And it's been it's been a couple seasons, and we are the thing is, the amount of money and the number of players that we're seeing failing here at Barcelona. It is astonishing the number of players that are failing at the club. You're making so many players fail, and when that happens, when one player fails, you have to be like, okay, one player fails. It could be the player. Two, there could be a lot of factors. If 1, 2, or 3 players fail at your club, they weren't good signings, they weren't good enough for Barcelona. But when you have 15 players in 4 seasons not succeed at your club, 15 signings that not succeed at your club, then it is your problem, and you haven't built the squad properly, you haven't given them opportunities, and you haven't signed the managers to get the most out of them, obviously. But anyways, we're all said and done. Leave me your opinions in the comment section below. What do you think about these players? Who do you think who you would like to include in this list? Who you think should not be in this list? Who you actually think succeeded at Barcelona? And what do you think Barcelona need to do going forward? Leave me all your opinions in the comment section below. Comment, like, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one, Blaugranas.